Here's a few things you may not have known about Tales from the Crypt. The set used for the opening sequence of the show was actually only about the size of a miniature golf course green. They used little snorkel cameras to film it. It's cute. John Kassir, who voiced the Crypt Keeper, has a pretty vast resume, with one of my favorites being Buster Bunny from Tiny Toons. Both From Dusk Till Dawn and The Frighteners were supposed to be released as Tales from the Crypt movies. They pretty much shot 2 versions of every episode from the show to take advantage of the syndication, which worked out pretty well when Fox picked it up in '94. When designing the Crypt Keeper, effects artist Kevin Yeager actually used the eyeballs from one of his other creations. Yep, them's Chucky's eyes.
It's the best thing you can do for them eyes.
Here's a few things you may not have known about Friday the 13th Part 7, New Blood. The film had to be submitted to the MPAA 9 times to get the change from the X rating to the R, and it stands as arguably the most censored entry in the franchise. It was actually intended for Freddy and Jason to meet up for the first time during this movie, but the 2 rights holders couldn't come to agreements behind the scenes, so they wrote in telekinetic Tina instead. C.J. Graham was to reprise the role if it hadn't been for the director who was pushing for Kane Hodder. Said he had been pretty impressed by Hodder eating live worms on the set of 1987's Prison. This film would also serve as the longest that Jason had ever stayed unmasked in any of the movies. Here's a few things you may not have known about 1978's Dawn of the Dead. According to several different crew members, a lot of the zombie extras were paid $1, a donut, and a Dawn of the Dead t-shirt. Tom Savini has since said that he wasn't very happy with the result of the color of the zombies, but with the original Night of the Living Dead being in black and white, he wanted something for them to stand out, even though some come out looking kind of blue. The late 70s was becoming the dawn of the Scream Queen, but when asked to do so by George Romero, actress Gaylen Ross refused to scream, saying her character was too strong for that, so Romero never asked her to do it again. It wasn't out of the ordinary for the zombie extras to visit the mall bar while waiting between shoots. Some cast saying that some of them would be shit-faced drunk before 6 a.m. Once a group of them stole a golf cart and crashed it inside the mall, causing like $7,000 worth of damage.
We got this, man. We got this by the ass.
Here's a few things you may not have known about 1993's Leprechaun. A lot of the film was shot at Big Sky Ranch, which was known for some more wholesome content, like Little House on the Prairie and the Waltons. Warwick Davis even said it felt a little blasphemous shooting some of the more violent scenes. You can find a couple of pretty big name drops in the credits under special thanks, one being to George Lucas for allowing Warwick Davis out of his contract to be in the film, one to former Vice President Dan Quayle, as his office sped up the working visa process for Mr. Davis. Writer-director Mark Jones said that the idea stemmed from this idea he had after watching a Lucky Charms commercial. He threw little critters into the mix and got Leprechaun. General Mills even gave him permission to use the cereal at one point, until they watched the actual movie and they backed out completely. Reshoots were made.
Fuck you, Lucky Charms.
Here's a few things you may not have known about 1976's The Omen. Harvey Stevens, who played Damien, was reportedly given the role due to the way he attacked the director Richard Donner when prompted at the audition. He kicked him in the balls and got the job on the spot. And that was only the beginning of the good times to be had by director Richard Donner, as during production his hotel was bombed by the IRA and he got hit by a fucking car. Several actors were approached to play Ambassador Thorne, Dick Van Dyke being one. He later said it was one of the stupidest moves he ever made not taking the role. The theme song of the movie is called Ava Satani, which translates to mean Hail Satan. And that, my friends, is metal as fuck!